Hey there, Jeff here, and today we're going to talk about all those courses you've bought over the last couple years. You know, the ones that have been sitting there taking up space in your hard drive? Yeah, those. Well, I'm going to suggest that you probably don't need any of them and why you might want to rethink buying another course ever again.
You could be larger than life, bigger than the world, living out the hopes and dreams of every boy and every girl. You know you could.
What's happening? Jeff here, coming to you as usual from the home office in Las Vegas, Nevada. Now, I've certainly bought my share of online courses over the years. Some have actually been pretty good and have gotten me closer to achieving a specific personal or professional goal. And then there are those that I probably never should have wasted my money on to begin with. Now, in fairness, some of these courses were purchased because they happen to be running a special sale, or some were even given to me as gifts. But either way, it's safe to say I've been a sucker for courses for a long time, and I'm now making a concerted effort to keep from buying any more for the next long while, and I'll explain why you might want to consider doing the same here in a second. Now, I love learning how to do new things and expanding my skill set, but I'd be lying if I said I finished and actually followed through on every course I've ever bought. And if I'm really being honest, there are probably only a handful of these courses that I ever completed, and even fewer cases where I've actually implemented what was taught. In fact, there are probably at least 50 courses or more still sitting in various accounts that I have yet to crack open. Now, does this mean these courses were bad? Probably not. I wouldn't know since I never started them. But this speaks more to my lack of discipline and patience than it does about the courses themselves. Some of the courses that I bought and never opened may very well be brilliant, but I'll probably never know because I'll most likely never get to them. Especially when you consider that many of these courses cover technical topics like learning how to use a specific software or implement a particular digital strategy that may or may not even be viable by the time you learn it. Which brings me to my first point on why you might want to put the brakes on buying any more courses until you've completed any that you've already invested in. For starters, as I mentioned a second ago, many of these courses are designed to teach you a specific skill that most likely will be obsolete within 6 months or less. Another thing I always found interesting is how these course creators always seem to highlight the length of their course, like it's supposed to be some kind of a selling point. Saying your course is over 12 hours long isn't exactly a benefit in my opinion. Quite the opposite, in fact. I don't know about you, but I'd much rather learn how to do something by watching a quick 5-minute tutorial video than suffer through a soul-crushing 27-hour course. And while I admit it's always good to strive for mastery, it's highly unlikely that you'll remember every little detail, and I'll probably only end up referring back to certain chapters or modules to refresh yourself on a specific section, in which case you'll have to wade through the entire program just to find that 2-minute nugget you were looking for. So, does this mean you should just delete all of those courses that you shelled out hundreds or maybe even thousands of dollars on? Well, maybe, or maybe not. But if you're like me, and you're still clinging to the idea that you'll eventually get around to that blogging course you bought back in 2007 for just $47, it might be time to take a different approach to how you go about learning a new skill. See, not only has the game evolved over the years, but more importantly, people are far more sophisticated and skeptical than they were even just a few short years ago. Nowadays, we're also overly inundated with every other post on our news feeds advertising some new tip, trick, hack, or strategy designed to close the gap between where we are and where we want to be, that we've become immune to the noise. Add to that the fact that pretty much anything you need to know at this point is usually just a quick and free Google or YouTube search away. And if you really want to dive deeper into a subject, you can always subscribe to something like Masterclass or lynda.com, where you can choose from a library of courses taught by recognized experts and even some celebrities that have actually done what they're teaching in the real world for far less than what most standalone courses by self-proclaimed gurus are going for. Now, if you've created a course that you're currently selling, there's absolutely nothing wrong with that either. I just recommend making that an affordable way to get people interested in any other done-for-you services you could provide. At the end of the day, people would much rather pay someone else to do what they can't, as opposed to spending the same amount trying to learn how to do it themselves, only to go back and hire someone to do it for them anyway. These days, an online course is almost like having a business card or a book that's meant mainly as a stepping stone to more exclusive and expensive products or services, which, by the way, is how the expert industry works, so I'm not saying that's a bad thing at all. In fact, an online course can be a great way to show your prospective clients what you can do for them by educating them on what they can expect before you start working together, especially if you're giving it away for free as a way of generating leads to your business. But the main point I'm making here is that you probably don't need to keep wasting any more time or money on costly online courses that'll just keep you stuck in student mode at the expense of taking action on what you need to accomplish to get closer to your goals. Chances are when you get stuck, there'll be plenty of free and quick tutorials that you can find that'll show you exactly what you need to know, along with an infinite amount of groups on social media that can help answer any questions you may have. Now, if you're required to take a course in order to obtain a license or clearance for a job, that's a different story. It'll most likely be related to a career path you're already on anyway. Like if you're studying to become a realtor, a financial advisor, or anything else that requires a specific certification, credential, or degree in order to do business. But if you're just looking to sharpen the saw and up your game a little on something, there's a pretty good chance that the information you need is right at your fingertips and just as effective as that course you're about to drop $1,000 on. I even have a theory that the online expert industry is actually designed to keep people in learning mode in order to prevent too many potential competitors from encroaching on an already overcrowded space. At the end of the day, it's important to remember that the people you're following are busy creating content for themselves and working in their respective fields, as opposed to spending hours on end consuming courses. So rather than spend time and money on their courses, you'd be much better off to follow their example and do likewise. So as always, I hope you got some value from this, and I'd love to know what you think. Are you overwhelmed by all the courses you still have yet to complete, or have you found a good balance between education and taking action? Let me know your thoughts in the comments. Also, be sure to subscribe to this channel for more content like this that'll help save you a ton of time and money figuring out this whole internet game. And of course, if you're looking for someone who can do the actual work of helping you launch your brand and business online instead of just selling you a course and letting you go on your merry way, by all means hit me up at the link below and we can talk about getting your project out there the right way. Until then, we'll see you next time.